Hello, BookTube. I have more mail for you today, quite a pile of it, in fact, starting off with a hoot. The first item that we have in the mail is a hoot. It's from one of you, and you didn't send it to me, you sent it to the Brattle Bookshop. I know I spent a lot of time at the Brattle, but I don't actually live there. You could always just use my address instead of sending it care of the Brattle, but nevertheless, somebody did all the way from Belgium. If you're watching, I am immensely grateful for this. And the Brattle thought it was kind of funny, too. The package was so thoroughly taped that I needed 3 strong young people to get it open. But I did. But I only told them open one end of it because I didn't want to spoil my own surprise. I have no idea what's in here. So we'll just see. I got a package in the mail all the way from Belgium. So let's try and get this book out of here and see what it is. Of course, this is still a violation of rule number 1, even if it's from Belgium. You're still not supposed to send me anything, not books. Feel free to send me an iPad. But all right, so what have we got here? What is this? Care of the Brattle Bookshop. Okay, it's the author's first novel, and it's by the author is Peter G, and the book is The Look in Your Eye. So we've got, what have we got here? In 1987, a ragtag array of post-punk bikers, odd Puerto Ricans, and assorted intellectuals, dignified and degenerate, turn a drug-fueled New England college party into a metaphysical voyage of discovery, ultimately leading to betrayal and homicide. Young Jim is along for the ride, the adventure of a lifetime, his own personal examination of mores, morals, and madness, sex and science, death and friendship, and discrimination. This book is about growing up with a nail in your heart, about human feeling and human-animal terror, not to mention the weird stuff, strange lights, dark figures, intruders from another dimension. It's about saying who you are and being told who you're supposed to be, about identifying and defining, about telling the truth and lying. So this is a self-published book, obviously, and it's I assume available. It's the author self-published it on Amazon. So if it sounds of interest to you, I'm sure the author would like your business, very much so. Full to bursting with hot bodies, smart mouths, and pounding hearts, busy brains, and wandering eyes, this book is a circular novel about nothing less than the nature of life, love, and literature. What it is to be desperate and out of your cursed mind. Right, well, sounds like the novel is taking no prisoners. Thank you very much, the person who sent it. But also the rest of you, if you're at all interested, that it sounds like a big, energetic novel of ideas. That was the only package that was sent to me care of the Brattle. All the rest of it came to my own address. I don't really understand why that would happen. It's not like my address is hard to find. I'd be happy. My email is on every video. I'd be happy to tell you where to send it. But anyway, let's see what the rest of these are. We've got a nice big bunch of packages here and a box at the end. Okay. All right. This first one is not in Steve's bailiwick, to put it mildly. maybe I need it to be. This is by Michael Brooks, and it's called The Art of More: How Mathematics Created Civilization. I'm not very adept at math. I've often found that the claims that people who are adept at math make for it are exaggerated. But let's give this a try. Since I'm looking all around for paperwork, and I don't have any, so I don't know when this comes out. It's a finished copy, so I'm assuming it was out last Tuesday, or is out next Tuesday, something like that. Let's see here. Counting is not innate to our nature. Got that right. And without education, humans can rarely count past 3. Beyond that, it's just more. But once harnessed by our ancestors, the power of numbers allowed humanity to flourish in ways that continue to lead to discoveries and enrich our lives today. Already hit trouble. I fundamentally don't believe that without education you can't count past 3. I'm not Grace Shakes at math, but I fundamentally don't believe that. You would at least be able to count to 10. But maybe the author means something different than simply counting. Without any education at all, if you knew the words for the numbers, if you knew the names of the numbers, then you wouldn't consider 5 to be 3 more. You would consider 5 to be 5, which is counting, isn't it? Anyway, ancient tax collectors used basic numeracy to fuel the growth of early civilization. Navigators used clever geometrical tricks to engage in trade and connect people across vast distances. Astronomers used logarithms to unlock the secrets of the heavens, and their descendants put them to use on land to land us on the moon. In every case, mathematics has proved to be a greatly underappreciated engine of human progress. In this captivating, sweeping history, Michael Brooks acts as our guide through the ages. He makes the case that mathematics was one of the foundational innovations that catapulted humanity from the nomadic existence to civilization, and that it has since been instrumental in every great leap of humanity. Here are ancient Egyptian priests, Babylonian bureaucrats, medieval architects, dueling Swiss brothers, Renaissance painters, and an eccentric professor who invented the infrastructure of our online world. Their stories clearly demonstrate that the invention of mathematics was every bit as important to the human species as was the discovery of fire. Okay, so who is this author when he's at home? He's a science writer with a PhD in quantum physics. Okay, all right. He's the author of several books, and he lives in the United Kingdom. Okay, fantastic. Well, he's got a case to make. And I've said very many times on this channel that a lot of you have thought over the years of me yelling at you that I would not like volumes of history that are, in addition to telling history, also trying to make a case about history. That a lot of you have thought that I wouldn't like that, but I do. Absolutely, I do. I think it's the lifeblood of any kind of historical inquiry. For somebody to look at the 10 previous accounts and say, I think they're all wrong. I have a different way, a way of interpreting the same information. I think that's fascinating. It doesn't always convince me, but it always entertains me. So I'll have to check. I'll go online, figure out what the date of this book is, and then put a little slip in it so that I know. This next one is heavy, probably another finished copy. Let's see what we have here. What is this? Oh, great. Okay. Again, a finished copy from a warehouse. That's the problem with the age of Omicron, is that no one is at their offices. No publicist is at their office. They're all at home, either because they've had stay-at-home orders. The job can be done from home. Most of it can be done from home. Either they've been told by their bosses, don't come to work, or the office is largely open. But as has been true in the last month here in America, certainly in my experience, and the people in my orbit, the people that I know or email with, if the office was opened and people were told to come on in, almost all of them are sick with Omicron, with the Omicron variant. I know virtually nobody who isn't sick with this, who hasn't had it in the last 3 weeks. I'm just assuming. I never assumed that I would get COVID-19. In my most fatalistic moments, I thought so. But otherwise, I thought, well, okay, you now know what this thing is. And you have listened to the experts, and you now know the best possible ways to protect yourself from it. If you do all of those things, it's likely that you won't get it. And then I got vaccinated, then I got double vaccinated, and then, whatnot. And then the Delta variant took off, and I wasn't really thinking that I would get it. I knew barely anybody who had got the Delta variant. Everybody I know either has Omicron right now or has had it recently. So the idea now, it seems completely unrealistic. Now I think I will certainly get the Omicron variant, and then we'll just see what happens. I will drag you through every inch of it. But the reason for that long digression is that I'm getting the books, but I'm not getting the stuff that publishers usually tend to tip in. They tip in the pub sheet, maybe a little note to me, that sort of thing. I'm sometimes not getting those, and I'm not getting it with this one either. This is The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis, who did, you can see on the cover, The Lions of Fifth Avenue, which I liked a lot. She's one of this new breed of historical novelists that is very prolific. But I don't have a sheet for this, so I have no idea when it comes out. I'll find out and put it in the book. So what have we got here? 8 months since losing her mother to the Spanish flu outbreak of 1919. In 1919. She lost her mother in 1919 to the Spanish flu out. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to start on a Trump rant. Good Lord. 21-year-old Lillian Carter's life has completely fallen apart. For the last 6 years, under the moniker Angelica, Lillian was one of the most sought-after artist models in New York City, with statues based on her figure gracing landmarks from the Plaza Hotel to the Brooklyn Bridge. But with her mother gone, a grieving Lillian is rudderless and desperate. The work has dried up, and a looming scandal has left her entirely without a safe haven. So when she stumbles upon an employment opportunity at the Frick Mansion, a building that, ironically, bears her own visage. I sort of saw that coming. Lillian jumps at the chance. But the longer she works as a private secretary to the imperious and demanding Helen Frick, the daughter and heiress of the industrialist and art patron Henry Clay Frick, it's their house. Any of you go to New York City, if you have any kind of time on your hands, yes, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. But if after the Metropolitan Museum of Art, you have to flip a coin between the Guggenheim, full of junk that you could find in the gutter on trash day, or the Frick, go to the Frick. Go to the Frick. Lillian jumps at the chance for this job when she gets it. The longer she works as a private secretary to Helen Frick, the more deeply her life gets entwined with that of the family, pulling her into a tangled web of romantic trysts, stolen jewels, and family drama that runs so deep the stakes may just be life or death. Nearly 50 years later, Maud English model Veronica Weber has her own chance to make her career, and with it earn the money she needs to support her family back home, within the walls of the former Frick residence, now converted into one of New York City's most impressive museums. But when she, along with a charming intern/budding art curator named Joshua, is dismissed from the Vogue shoot taking place in the Frick collection, she chances upon a series of hidden messages in the museum. Messages that will lead her and Joshua on a hunt that could not only solve Veronica's financial woes, but could finally reveal the truth behind a decades-old murder at the infamous Frick family. And that is the pattern that a lot of these new historical novels tend to take. Which is not just telling you a historical novel. They instead link it to something going on far later, decades afterwards. And it's an intriguing structure, but there's a part of me, I've liked a lot of them, but there's a part of me that's just traditionalist enough to want you to tell a story set in one time period in the past. But we'll see. I wish that this cover had been designed differently. If you take the dumb flowers off it, it's actually a good cover. But it's going to be curious to know also, I don't know, but I'm curious to know, is there a real life equivalent of this person? A much sought after female artist model in the Frick period of New York City. I'm wondering if that's true. But the author's note will go on at great length about whether or not that's true. And I'm going to need to learn all of that because I'm going to need to figure out when this and the mathematics book come out anyway. So let's do this next one. I've got some intricate balancing acts going on here. All right. This one is one of these vacuum pack things, probably also a finished copy. Yeah, another finished copy. Okay, great. Okay, this one does have a sheet. Wonderful. So this one I'll be able to know when this comes out. This comes out on February 1st. I think we've seen it already. This is the finished copy of Lan Samantha Chang's novel, The Family Ciao. The seemingly pleasant, predominantly white town of Haven, Wisconsin has been home to a Chinese restaurant, Fine Chow, for nearly 4 decades. Owned by the beguiling tyrannical Leo Chow, the restaurant has offered nostalgic Chinese residents a bit of home and white townspeople a bit of culture. Chinese food modified for American appetites. Large chunks of meat, peanuts in everything, anything with sweet and sour sauce. Wish I could say that was an inaccurate portrayal of Americans. As well as an access to an immigrant family striving for the American dream. Leo has succeeded as a restaurant owner thanks to his self-sacrificing wife Winnie and his bright, ambitious sons. Diners in Haven have happily consumed Fine Chow's inexpensive food while extolling the Chow parents for raising good, accomplished sons. But when Leo is found dead, presumed murdered, the community begins reevaluating the Chow family and speculating about the passions and culpability of the Chow brothers. And the pub sheet refers to this as a modern-day Brothers Karamazov. But it comes out on February 1st, and I still haven't got to it. I have the advanced copy. I'll move this up to right away. I think I probably commented when I got the advanced copy that this hits a little close to home because I actually know a family in Boston's Chinatown that is this story, except for the murder. They all want to murder each other, but they don't. They love each other at the end of the day. But I've known that family for 3 generations, for years and years and years. It's amazing to me still that I don't go there every week, that I don't go there every Friday for lunch and the reading and marking of periodicals. I used to do that every Friday that I was in the country for a long, long, long time. And I just don't anymore. The same double whammy that I talked about in my comic book video yesterday. The double whammy of my girls first getting sick and then declining into death. And then COVID. The double whammy of those two things just erased all those habits like that through thick and thin, through personal tragedies and personal triumphs and horrible health and whatnot. I always went there on Friday. And in my bag was that week's New Yorker or that week's New York Review of Books or the TLS or the London Review of Books that I would read adoringly carefully at my table. I would chat with the family. No one else was ever there. It was delightful. It still amazes me. I would have thought if you'd told me 5 years ago there's going to come a time when you just don't go there anymore, when you don't even think about it, I would have said, well, the only way that would happen is if they close shop. That could easily be. Rents in Boston, taxes in Boston. It could easily be that they just decide to cash out the restaurant. But not if they were open for business. And yet, it just goes to show, you never know. So now we'll do this next one here. We're getting closer to the box. This next one is also refreshingly heavy. So this could also be a finished copy of something. Yes, it is. It's a finished copy. Okay, so do we have a sell sheet for this one? No, we do not. All right, we're on our own. That's all right. This is by Ryan Cooper, who is a national correspondent at The Week. And it's called How Are You Going to Pay for That? Smart Answers to the Dumbest Questions in Politics. So we'll just read from the flap, so we don't have the sheet for it here. Throughout America, structural problems are getting worse. Economic inequality is near Gilded Age heights, so it's much, much worse than Gilded Age heights. Much worse. Don't be fooled by the fact that everybody has a cell phone. The healthcare system is a mess, and the climate crisis continues to grow. Yet ambitious policy proposals that might fix these calamities are dismissed as wastefully expensive by default. From the kitchen table to Congress, debates are punctuated with the familiar refrain, how are you going to pay for that? This question is designed to shut down policy pushes up front, minimizing any interference with the free market. It comes from neoliberalism, an economic ideology that has overtaken both parties. Proponents insist that markets are naturally occurring and apolitical, and that too much manipulation of the economy will make our society fall apart. Automatically wanting to know, just ask David Murphy a million questions about some of these claims. Ryan Cooper argues that our society is already falling apart, and the logically preposterous view of neoliberalism is to blame. Most progressives understand this instinctively, but many lack the background knowledge to make effective economic counter-arguments. How are you going to pay for that is filled with engaging discussions and detailed strategies that policymakers and citizens alike can use to assail even the most entrenched lines of neoliberal logic and start to undo long-held misconceptions. Okay, well, I need to find the date on this thing. My answer to how are you going to pay for that has been true for the last 60 years. And it's true today more so than ever. The liquidation for cash of one weapons system at the Pentagon, one, would free up, I don't even know, $400 billion? $400 billion of extra cash, something that is totally redundant for the Pentagon, is not needed, but $400 billion would stop everybody in Congress, all the way down to Joe Manchin, from saying, how are you going to pay for that? There'd be ample amounts of money to pay for it. If you liquidated one weapon system at the Pentagon, you could fund state-of-the-art public schools, state-of-the-art daycare, healthcare for everyone. All of those things would happen at one time. If you liquidated 2 weapon systems at the Pentagon, keep in mind that would still mean that we have 215 weapon systems more than the next highest number of weapon systems of any nation on Earth. 215 more even if you eliminate 2. If you eliminated 2, the first one would pay for healthcare, daycare, physical improvements in roads, physical improvements in schools, the building of new schools. The second weapon system that you liquidate would allow the government to cut a $5,000 check every other month to everyone in the country, to every citizen in the country. Guaranteed universal income, in other words, guaranteed basic income, so that you don't have to worry anymore about working 3 jobs to pay your bills. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. And it doesn't take the toll that it takes on you anymore. The feeling of going from not knowing how you're going to pay anything, any bills at all, to knowing how you're going to pay those bills, even if it's not particularly easy, to at least knowing that it can be done. The feeling of going from one to the other, if you haven't experienced it, you have no idea how much money is weighing on your mind, even if you think it's not. Until it's no longer a problem, you just don't know. And the government could alleviate that completely. And I might add, that's what governments are for. So my answer to how are you going to pay for that would be cut 2 weapon systems at the Pentagon. That's all. The on-the-books budget for the military in the United States in 2022 is $1 trillion. You have any idea how much money that is? If you're thinking that it's a lot more than $1 billion, you're dead wrong. It's a universe more than $1 billion. It's $1 trillion, and that's just on the books. The real number is closer to $2 trillion. A gigantic fire hose of money for doubly, triply, quadruply, and quintuply redundant weapon systems that will not be used anyway. We already know that they are totally redundant in every sense of the word. They won't be used anyway. The warfare that they are designed to conduct was obsolete 30 years ago and is now being conducted by the subversion of elections and by cyber terrorism. So having, a bunker buster missile program that costs $200 billion, and you need that every year. And that's just one bunker buster missile program, but you have 10 of them. There's a hole in the bottom of the budget in the United States, and that's where the money's draining out. It's draining out into the gigantic catch-all of the military. Scrap 1 military system, scrap 2 military systems. You don't even have to scrap 10, much less all 310. Scrap 2, and suddenly you've got the money to pay for everything. It is absolutely ridiculous, a scandal that in Congress and in the talking head networks on TV, we are debating and scrabbling and squawking about what we can pinch and pull and twist around here from these various little social programs that are down in this little corner, when all the rest of this is trillions of dollars of money, your money, my money, being paid for the military. Trillions of dollars, $2 trillion of your money. Well, what we're arguing about down here is, well, I don't know, we wanted, $1 billion subsidy for greening the environment, green industry, that sort of thing. But I guess we can maybe bring that down to $1 million. Okay, maybe $500,000 if we take it from child subsidies or what. With all this money over here. Anyway, how are you going to pay for that? I will either read it and misunderstand it, or I will box it up and send it to David Murphy. So let's, especially since now I've previewed what my own review of it would be, I'll just be ranting in the course of the review. All right, this next one is also a finished copy. Oh, God. Oh, my God. All right, well. Okay, so this comes out on January 18th, next Tuesday. Okay. All right. This is Red Milk by Sjon, translated from the Icelandic by Victoria Cribb. This is the finished copy of Red Milk. Okay. Well, let's see what this is, first of all. This author's mind-bending and award-winning fiction, a heady mix of storytelling brio, the mythic and the bizarre, the historical and the surreal, has been translated to more than 25 languages and earned him a reputation as one of Iceland's greatest writers. Hold on there, BookTube. Just wait for the shaking to subside while Snorri Snorlason spins in his grave. In addition to their wildly imaginative stories and characters, oh my God. The author's slim novels are remarkable in their ability to summon an entire historical age in miniatures, whether it is the superstitions and cruelty of the pre-scientific age, the wintry darkness of the 19th century rural hunting, or the creeping dread of the Spanish flu-era Reykjavik. However, none of this author's previous novels has felt as urgently resonant with our own historical moment as this one. A beguiling mystery wrapped up in the life story of a young Icelandic far-right activist and his radicalization in the decades after World War II. Okay, well, this author wrote a book called Moonstone, The Boy Who Never Was, and it's atrocious. Just atrocious. And I don't mean just that his narrative hijinks don't agree with me. I know it doesn't seem it right now, but I have a pretty broad flexibility for narrative hijinks in contemporary fiction. I'm pretty broad with it. I'm okay with seeing if it can be done well. I mean that Moonstone was inept. Just inept. It was plot-wise, structure-wise, just factual flow-wise, it was just inept. It was not edited. And it was junk. And it brought this author's balance at the Bank of Steve down pretty low. But I am going to try this again. This is out very soon. It'll take me half an hour to read, so I will do this tonight. I'm a little bit leery when I say that because half of the books here I don't know the dates on. This could all be TBR stuff. But I know this author has loyal fans. I don't know how they could have remained loyal fans after Moonstone. But I'll give this a try. I'll give it a try and see. Then we have the last of these bright white envelopes. Then we have the box. And the box is fairly light. It's big, but it's light. I have a feeling that it's another example of how someone just had a book and had a box and some packing material to do. So what have we got? Oh, okay. All right, great. We've already seen this. This is the finished copy of something that is out soon. Yes, next Tuesday. This is quoting from Star Trek there. The tractor beam won't be installed until next Tuesday. We've seen this already. This is Andrew Lipstein. This is Last Resort with that intentionally faded cover. Let's see here. Caleb Horowitz is 27, and his wildest dreams are about to come true. His manuscript has caught the attention of the agent, who offers him money, acclaim, and a taste of the literary life. He can't wait for his book to be shopped to every editor in New York except one, Avi Deitch, an old college rival and the novel's, quote, inspiration. When Avi gets his hands on it, he sees nothing but theft and opportunity. Caleb is forced to make a Faustian bargain, one that tests his theories of success, ambition, and the limits of art. Okay, great. This gives me a chance to finish copy. It gives me a chance to take a gander at the author. I hadn't done that before. I had the advanced copy, which does not come with the author's preposterous author photo. So is the author young? Yes, he is young. Mm-hmm. And as me sainted Ma would say, it would kill you to smile. He's grimly looking off to one side. Such a horrible thing to have your novel published. Then we'll do the box. Nice big box from Penguin Random House. Actually, now that I pick this up again, it does have a little weight to it. And it's knocking around a little. It could be more than one book to finish things up here. Let's take a look at what we have here. It's a lot of books. It is more than one book. It's a lot. It's a box full of books. What have we got? Oh, wow. All right, you dude bros. Gather around. The rest of you are dismissed for the rest of the mail haul. But the dude bros out there, you need to gather around. Oh my! Because I just got the box of your dreams. I was emailing with a publicist the other day about, of all people, Jack Kerouac. How he's undergoing a centenary, and the publicist wanted to know, as they are the nicest people in the world. They are just wonderful. They keep, swanning old book divas like me in free books, which is great. She wanted to know, my publisher Penguin, we bring out all of Kerouac. Is there anything that you want to maybe reread or reconsider in as some sort of piece for that retrospective? And I got a little greedy. I don't particularly like Kerouac. I don't think I've read anything by him that I liked. And there's even rumor that we had a personal connection once upon a time, very briefly. But he's not on the codex. He's not on the index of forbidden authors. I am, if I was willing to to reread The Sun Also Rises, then I am willing to reread Kerouac. And I got a little greedy and asked, just make me a care package of your Kerouac volumes. And she did. And I could kiss her. I could dance at her wedding. Because what I have here to show you is a stack of Jack Kerouac. So we'll start. I'm seeing here that she even put in stuff that I don't think I asked for. First one is this beautiful Penguin volume of Big Sur. Look at how lovely that is. Just these Penguin, when they want to observe the occasion for an author, they don't pull any punches. Where am I going to put all these things? Good Lord. Okay. Wow. Okay, these next two. Ann Charters edited these. These are the 2 volumes of the collected letters of Kerouac. So here we have 1940 to 1956 and 1957 to 1969. Incredible. These 2 new Penguin volumes of Kerouac's letters. Then what else do we have? Okay, Desolation Angels is next in this Penguin volume. How lovely. Just how lovely. These will be worth examining no matter what, even if the end verdict stays the same. Then the next one is a Penguin Classic Deluxe edition of the Dharma Bums. And here we have the introductions by Ann Douglas, and the artwork is in this cartoony style. So you've got cartoony styles. The Penguin Classic Deluxe editions have the deckled edges. They have the French flaps. They're really, really nice, and they have this original artwork. Jason is the only credit on the for the artist. Some of you probably know this artist. But this is the Penguin Classic Deluxe edition of Dharma Bums, and if we've done Desolation Angels, Big Sur, the letters, and Dharma Bums, well then you know what we're finishing up with. The Penguin Classic Deluxe edition of On the Road. Look at that. That is what it looks like. I don't think I've ever seen this before. The back is comic book style artwork. Is this artist? Is this the artist I think it is? Tim Lane is the artist here. And you've got the inside flap there. Which all little cartoonish excerpts from the book. On the Road, which I do not have. I don't have any other volume of this. I didn't have any Kerouac. I didn't want to admit that to the publicist. But the last time I had a yen to read Kerouac, I think it was one of these Ann Charters letters books. I got a copy from the Brattle Bookshop, read through it, and then just sold it back to them. I knew I didn't want to keep it, but I had a momentary curiosity. I think that was in 2020 to read a little bit of Kerouac's letters, not any of his fiction. This is all new to me. I don't have any of this Kerouac. So what I got here in this final box is a gigantic stack of Penguin Kerouac. And can we figure out from these what actually was the yes, okay. He was born in Lowell, Massachusetts in 1922. So 2022 is the centenary of his birth. And there you have it. None of these is new, I don't think. This is just a stack of Kerouac to let you know what Penguin Classics has. If you love the author, they actually have a lot. And as you can see, all of it is beautiful. So there you go. That is our mail for today. Not a bad mail haul. Ups and downs as usual. So we have Last Resort by Andrew Lipstein. We have Red Milk by Sean. We have How Are You Going to Pay for That? We have The Family Ciao in a finished copy. We have The Magnolia Palace, also in a finished copy. We have The Art of More, a story of how mathematics saved civilization. We have, let's see here, let's do these all over again. These are lovely. We have the Dharma Bums, the Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition by Jack Kerouac. We have Desolation Angels, also a Penguin Classic, Jack Kerouac. We have the 2 volumes of Kerouac's letters that Ann Charters edited and that you can often see in your used bookstores. I see them at the Brattle Bookshop all the time, but I don't need them anymore. I have them both now. We have Big Sur, this lovely paperback. And finally, On the Road. So a gigantic amount of Jack Kerouac. Nice big mail pile. And also, in case you're feeling curious about a new author, we have this. The Look in Your Eye. A mind-blowing novel from an author who sent it to me all the way from Belgium. Fantastic. All right, so that is the mail for today. I don't know that I'm willing to go so far as to say that this is that we've turned a corner. I wouldn't be surprised if there's no more mail this week. I don't think, I think it would be way too premature to say that this means that the mail is slowly in 2022 getting back to normal. Normal being the pre-pandemic days on this channel when I got a plastic post office tub full of packages every day. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is just random chance. That's all. But we shall see. You'll be the first to know. If I get buried in mail, we'll go right back to daily mail hauls. But in the meantime, I'm going to wrap this up, and I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.